One of my favorite movies is John Carpenter's The Thing. I like body horror, and I love the special effects in it. Morrowind has its own kind of body horror with Corprus, but it doesn't really go as far as it could. You got enemies that have been mutated by the disease, becoming walking tumors and accumulating tentacles, but the environments don't really reflect the unsettling nature of the Sixth House. Some of Michael Kirkbride's concept art implies that there was supposed to be much more body horror than we actually see in the game. The Sixth House was supposed to be more occult, more insidious. Look at Telesera. It's spooky, but it's not horrific. Ilunibi, Kogoruhn, Odrosal, Vemynal, and Dagoth. Thanks to the modding community and their ceaseless devotion to this game, these dungeons have been given new life, making them not only more thematically appropriate, but also more difficult to navigate. Even the Ash Vampires have gotten some love. They've all now got their own unique model. And we can't forget about Dagoth. That final fight. Oh, it's different. Because these mods affect dungeons you visit during the main quest, we'll be doing the main quest. But we'll skim over most of it and instead spend most of our time in the new locations. I'm already aware of what the final fight is like, and I know it can be trivialized with healing potions, but I don't want to rely on that. Basic restoration potions can get pretty busted, so instead we'll be relying on enchantments, spells, vendor potions, and scrolls. Also, just to add to my own personal stress, we'll be running with the Maxar's Unpause mod. The world doesn't freeze when your inventory is open. Makes mid-combat inventory management a bit more dangerous. Infinitely more dangerous, actually. Greetings! Narratively Spurious Cyborg here, filling in for JBN while he's indisposed. I'm here to tell you about today's sponsor, Displate. If you're looking to add some personal style to your space, but don't want to deal with the unreliability of paper posters, then Displate is your answer. Every poster is made from solid steel, meaning they're built to last and won't accidentally rip when you walk a bit too close to your wall and the zipper from your sweatshirt catches on its edge, ruining the canvas picture forever. With over 2 million different artworks, you're sure to find something that fits your interest. There's custom art from independent artists, and licensed art from popular franchises like Elden Ring, World of Warcraft, and Fallout. This is Mr. Pebbles, the first cat in space, according to the Fallout US government at least. Mounting them is a breeze. Clean the surface, place the protective leaf on the wall, stick the included magnet onto the leaf, and press down hard. And you're done. Now you can hang any displate of your choice. I'm not exactly sure where I want to hang these new ones, but because switching them out is so simple, I can just take down my old ones and put up the new ones while I think about it. Displates make for great gifts. There's something for everyone. And with their fast, gift-ready shipping, you can get a displate out before the holidays or a birthday within 4 to 5 business days. If you're interested in livening up your space, you can grab an exclusive discount of up to 37% off by using my link in the description or by using the promo code JBN. So after doing all the typical starting minutia, grabbing the Mentor's Ring, stealing stuff around Balmora, buying spells, buying devil weapons, all the usual chores, we buy 10 levels worth of heavy armor training and travel north to Kull. A large health pool will be important, so we want to max out our endurance as soon as possible. With the Lady Birth sign, we begin with 75 endurance, which is pretty good on its own, admittedly, but 100 would be better. Those 10 heavy armor levels will let us allocate 5 endurance points when we finally level up, and the remaining 20 points will come from, and say it with me, the Bitter Cup. Drinking from the cup effectively transfers 20 points from your lowest attribute to your highest attribute. In this case, we'll siphon from our personality, as is usually the case. Normally, we would jump from Kull to Aldredania with the Scroll of Acarian Flight, but I accidentally sold them to Galbadir, and I really don't feel like going back to Balmora just to get them. Next time we're in town, we'll pick them back up. But we have water walking, so getting to Aldredania ain't so bad. Now, you may be wondering why we opted for Shortblade and Blunt Weapon as weapon skills, instead of, say, Spear. Well, Keening and Sunder are very strong weapons, and I'd like to be as accurate as possible with at least one of them. That means using primarily Shortblades or primarily Blunt Weapons during the course of this run. Since Dark Elves get a boost to Shortblade, and we're playing as a Dark Elf, Shortblade it is. It doesn't hurt that the Bound Dagger from the Devil Tonto is also one of the strongest Shortblades in the game. The unfortunate problem is that we can't kite enemies that well. Spears have an increased reach, so you can backpedal while attacking, and simultaneously keep away from your target. A dagger's strength is in its speed, not its reach. The Skeletal War Wizard that guards the Bitter Cup is easy to juke and run away from, and is easy to kill if you have a spear. Not so easy when you're using a dagger. The Vampiric Ring is incredibly powerful, overpowered perhaps, and that's no less the case for an NPC wielding the ring. Absorb health, 20 to 30 points for 10 seconds. We have 50 health. It kills us before we can even switch to our healing spell. Distance is our only defense, and we just don't got distance. Our only option is grabbing the cup and teleporting out of the place. Not ideal, but that's just the way it has to be. Back in town, we spell make a Drain Personality spell, cast it on ourselves, and quickly drink from the cup, setting us up for optimal health gains. Main quest time. We won't dawdle too long on each step. If you're really interested in the story and don't want to play Morrowind yourself, even though you should, my recent no running or jumping video goes into more detail. It's intentionally slower paced, actually. We got our first orders from Caius and head off to Arkingthan to collect the Dwemer puzzle box for Hazfat Antibolus, taking a little extra time to kill the optional enemies purely for the Shortblade XP. The same is also true for the next dungeon we have to go to, the Andrano Ancestral Tomb, where we have to collect a skull. On our way to collect the skull of Levuel Andrano, we kill a few more skellies than required, because XP is XP. We'll need to be level 3 for Caius' next set of orders anyway. Rather than spam casting cheap restoration or alteration spells for 20 minutes, let's just buy training. We're not swimming in gold right now, but we will be eventually. Think of this not as an expenditure, but as an investment. To go with those alteration levels we just bought, we spell make a Cash's Lock Splitter. Open 100 points on touch. The cash chance will be low, but not 0, and that's all that matters. There's no such thing as luck, only persistence. Well, there's the luck attribute, but you know what I mean. As soon as we hit level 3, Caius sends us off to the city of Avec to collect notes from his informants. Julia, the Moragtong assassin, Adherenir, the Thieves Guild operative hiding from the now-dead tax collector, who could have killed him, and Maramilo, a temple priest in the temple's library. After collecting all the plot-relevant data, we're sent to Eldrun to meet with an Ashlander who tells us about the Ursulaku Ashlander camp along the northern coast of Ardenfell. That's, of course, where Caius has us go next. For training purposes, we'll take the long way to the camp, through the Foyada running northwest out of Margon. Lots of cliff racers, lots of wildlife, but the enemies are weak, so the XP is easy. Before Sulmatul, Ashcan of the Ursulaku, tells us anything about the Naravarine prophecy, or the Naravarine cult, he first demands we perform an initiation rite, and become a clan friend of his people. The task is simple. Go to the Ursulaku Barrow Caverns and collect the Bonebiter Bow of Sulcenipal from the Wraith of Sulcenipal, father of Sulmatul, Ashcan of the Ursulaku Ashlanders. Besides the bow, there are 2 other pieces of gear we want to grab before we leave. Magebane, an enchanted glass claymore, and glass pants, a pair of glass greaves. I gave it that name. We'll sell the former and wear the latter. As for the use of creature merchants, I'm not going to prohibit it, but I'm also not going to waste my time shuffling loot in order to get the maximum amount of gold. Creeper only has 5,000 gold at a time, so if some items are valued greater than 5,000 gold, I'm just going to take the 5,000 gold. There's so much loot in this game, the opportunity costs are negligible. We get to the end of the dungeon, we kill the Wraith of Sulcenipal, take the Bonebiter Bow of Sulcenipal from the Wraith of Sulcenipal, leave the Ursulaku Barrow Caverns, and return the Bonebiter Bow of Sulcenipal to the son of Sulcenipal, Sulmatul Ashcan of the Ursulaku Ashlanders. He and his wise woman dish the deeds on the Naravarine secrets, and we return to Caius for the first part of the meat of this video. Emphasis on meat. A group of soldiers were attacked while patrolling the coasts near Nar Mok. Only one of Reza Polia's men survived the assault, returning to the fort, horribly disfigured by Corprus, and rambling like a madman. In his ravings, he mentioned a cavern by the name of Ilunibi. In their flight, the patrol lost their way within the caverns until they encountered a monstrous, half-man creature, Dagoth Gares. Gares slew every soldier, sparing only one, so that he might spread the word of Dagoth Ur's return. The sleeper awakes. The soldier died shortly after. In the base game, you get this description, and don't really know what to expect. If you hadn't wandered into any 6th House bases yet, like Telecero or prematurely Kogoruhn, you'd have no idea what kind of monsters await you, what den of horrors lies on the coast. And then when you get there, it's a cave with some grey dudes, some Dunmer, who are also grey dudes, and a noodle snoot at the end. The dungeon isn't really monstrous. It's dark and wet, but every cave is like that. Now, it's a little different. Still wet though. Oh, down, Mr. Skeleton? Oh, thank you. A steep drop followed by a pond we have to wade through makes the whole patrol ran into the cave to hide story a bit incongruous, but it's fine. Mods can be a little dissonant, it doesn't matter. Ash Slaves, as you should expect. Before coming here, I made a new healing spell that heals for the same amount as Hearth Heal, but over 10 seconds rather than over 1 second. This way we can cast it before taking a ton of damage, and heal while attacking. I love how jagged and gnarly this cavern looks. The original Ilunibi was very smooth, very neat, like it had been machined. Marowak's Spine. The Cubone took the skull. Ooh, what's this? A structure. A constructed structure. A new enemy. They sound like Dunmer. They're probably Dunmer. Are these guys replacing the usual naked dreamers who have nothing but a club to smack you with? That's fantastic. It's always weird that they just have random naked dudes running around. I mean, I guess, a cult would have some strange aesthetics, but you need some soldiers to protect you, right? Man, they're tanky. I mean, I know short blades ain't all that strong, but still. Yep, Dreamers. Decked out in 6th House heavy armor. I should have taken heavy armor as a major so I could wear this stuff. Pretty cool looking. Oh well. This guy's seen better days. Ew, flesh walls, gross. I love it. Let's stop running and walk. We don't want to rush through this. We want to soak in the ambience and conserve fatigue. The 6th house seems to have built a kind of Dunmer stronghold within these caverns. Perhaps it was always here, and they merely excavated it. If the tunnels under Kogoruhn are any indication, the 6th house knows how to dig. Maybe Dagoth learned it from the Dwemer. You can't not smack a gong. 6th house, Helmet of Faith. Drain personality and fortify willpower 20 points each. Why not? Who needs personality when you're in a Cronenberg cave? I can't be sure of this, but I suspect will happen across several 6th house bellhammers, and as much as I'd like to sell them all, they're incredibly heavy. We will collect every 6th house amulet we find though, because they're light and sell for 2k each. No reason not to take them. Who left all this Imperial steel armor here? And look at these bones. They're going to get misplaced if they're just left out on the floor like this. Look, all the tarsals are already missing. And once you lose them, you might as well just get a new skeleton at that point. And of course, once you do, the tarsals will show up, and now you've got extra tarsals to put in your bone junk drawer, which is like 90% tarsals, because this ain't the first time you've lost the damn things. You always say you're going to organize your place better, but you never do, or you do for a day, and then all it takes is one slip up and bam, new bone junk drawer. Dagoth Gares? No, can't be. This is too unceremonial. I can't remember Ilunibi having more than one noodle snood, so that's quite the significant change. This mod also incorporates some changes from the Beware the 6th House mod, so many of the generic 6th House enemies are a bit tougher. These noodle snoods could be dangerous. Oh, I caught a disease by looting this thing. Doesn't even have a 6th House amulet to make it worth it. Damn it. I did actually think ahead, and I bought a Cure Blight Disease spell, but it costs 100 magicka, which we don't have. So we're stuck with Ash Woe Blight. If only there was a way to become immune to disease. Oh, Ash Woe is me. Cages. Lovely. See, this is effective organization. The worst part about this is that it's probably very warm in this place, and I assume a lot of the wall meat is infected and oozing with pus, so this place must reek. What do you think smells worse? Fresh corpses or skin rocks with staphylococcus? In a lot of the 6th house dungeons, there are coffins and bowls full of Corprus meat, and that meat is alive. It pulsates, or at least I imagine it does. Where does it come from? My first thought would be that it's collected from the Corprus stalkers and the lame Corprus. They just cut off pieces and wait for the tumors to grow back. This is how Dagoth feeds his more digestively inclined forces. This mod creates different potential explanations. See the strings hanging from the ceiling? Maybe they extrude meatballs, and you can squeeze them out like it's a tube of toothpaste. It's like reverse boba. The walls have eyes. Literally. Gross. My life has never been the same since I learned about teratomas. I won't explain what they are here. I'll leave that discovery up to you, but this ain't too far off. That's an arm, which raises more questions. Are Corprus creatures being subsumed into the mass? Or is the mass growing Corprus creatures? Or does it just grow arms sometimes? It looks like it's reaching for something. Perhaps it wants a land title deed to use as toilet paper. Ooh, is that a 6th house cup? Well, we need one later, so we might as well take this one. Oh, what is this thing? An armored bone walker? Using frost atronach animations? Wait, what? Weird. Man, that was the toughest fight so far. A vile creature. On its body is nothing but an item called the Saint's Soul. Looting it starts a quest, but our journal doesn't tell us much. I wonder if someone within Ilunibi might be missing it. I read the mod page to find any hints as to what this leads to, and I couldn't find much. It seems to be part of a quest that involves several different items scattered throughout the caverns, but I don't even know where to begin that quest, and I don't want to just read a guide, if I could even find one. I assume there's a note somewhere, vaguely outlining what we need, but I never found it, so let's just pretend this never happened. Why don't you embark on your own adventure and discover the secrets behind the mystery of the Saint's Soul? Ugh, I'm getting flashbacks to the bottom of the Kakariko well. These ash ghouls are really doing a number on me. The shock spells, I tell you, I should have been ignored. This feels final roomy. We got moving tentacles on the roof. If I were building a nightmare cave, I'd put my sentient tentacles in the room I spend the most time in. I did not realize the implications when I wrote that. I was imagining them kind of like a ceiling fan. Never mind. So that must be Dagoth Gares. His precursor Noodle Snoots were pretty tough, so let's pre-buff with both a health and fatigue restoring spell while he runs on over. Oh, he's just a regular Noodle Snoot, unaffected by the mod's ash ghoul changes. Alright, with Dagoth Gares' final breath, he infects us with the divine disease, Corprus. Oddly enough, we still have Ashwoe Blight. I guess Corprus prevents you from being infected, but doesn't cure current infections. Oh, I guess that means the wall flesh doesn't have a staph infection. So that's probably how it's able to survive with all the gaping wounds. It's uninfectable. Assuming that's how disease even works in the Elder Scrolls universe, who the hell knows. Before leaving this lovely place, we gotta get 2 of the best items in the game. The Fists of Randagulf. Heavy armor gauntlets that grant 20 points of strength and 20 points of agility.
There is no escape.
Now this is a psycho assassin. Who in their right mind would follow me into this place? Enjoy your tomb, dude. Become one with the cave that breathes. We return to Caius, and he thinks our Corprus is gross, but if he saw what we just saw, he'd realize our case is rather mild. Nonetheless, he sends us to meet with Devaith Fear, Corprus Expert Extraordinaire. It's a slant rhyme. Before heading out, we cure our blight disease because that's annoying, and we also swing by the skill trainers in the Mages Guild in Balmora. Get some restoration levels, some enchant levels for intelligence attributes, and some character levels. Morrowind does have a bit of a bedbug problem, but they're pretty big, so they don't come in swarms, fortunately. The locals tell me these aren't actually bedbugs, but everything in Morrowind is bugs, so. With the Acarian Flight Scrolls I bought back from Galbadir, we leap from Sadrith Mora toward Tel Fear and cast... Oh, right, unpaused. It's gotta be quick. We cast a custom slow fall spell so we don't die upon impact, but we landed in the water, and likely would have been fine. Tel Fear will serve 2 purposes. First, curing our Corprus, but that's a given. Our second purpose is getting a quite strong artifact. It's the reason we made the Akasha's Lock Splitter spell. The Cuirass of the Savior's Hide. You may think it's the 60% magicka resistance we want, and you'd be correct, but we also want the armor it provides. Putting it on brings us to 34 points of armor, up from 16, more than doubling our physical damage reduction. So, Corprus. We talk to Fear. He sends us into the Corprusarium to get a pair of boots from Yagi the Spider, Master Crafter and Tamriel's last living dwarf, and upon our return, he administers his Corprus Cure, which, as if foretold in a prophecy, actually works and cures the negative effects of Corprus. It doesn't remove Corprus, but it leaves us with only the benefits. Immunity to disease and aging. The latter is more of a lore thing. Alright, I'm jonesing to get to Kogoruhn, so speedrun time. Caius heads back to the Imperial City. The Temple arrests Marimilo, incarcerating her in a frozen in-time meteor hovering above Vivec, forever acting as a reminder that the Tribunal does, in fact, own the Dunmer. We break into the prison using our skills in stealth and subterfuge to sneak past the guards. Failing that, we rush to Mara's cell, unlock it with magic, give her a scroll of divine intervention, and agree to meet her at Holamayan, headquarters of the Dissonant Priests. Is it a portal? Is it a door? It's a dordle. Gilvas Borello gives us a bunch of books about the Nerevarine, which we return to Nabani Mesa, who confirms we've completed the first 2 of the 7 Nerevarine trials. The 3rd trial is a secret Suma tool we'll reveal only after we complete yet another task. We are to retrieve a House Dagoth cup, Corpus Weepings, and the Shadow Shield from Kogoruhn, the ancestral home of the 6th House. Immediately, this already feels like a place, not just a random stronghold in the middle of nowhere. Though, to be fair, that's completely in line with all the other Dunmer strongholds. It just seems odd that the 6th House would have been here for years and not really have made the place a home, you know? The exterior is very reminiscent of Tamriel rebuilt locations, which isn't surprising considering it uses assets from both OAAB and Tamriel data. Both of those are asset repositories modders are free to use, if you weren't aware. I don't know how exclusive each repository is for adding assets, but I'm pretty sure they're free for anyone to pull assets from for their mods. Modding is a community effort after all. Thanks modders, you guys are pretty damn cool. Anyway, here's a weird statue. By taking this strange fruit, we summon a Dark Seducer. Why a Dark Seducer and not a Golden Saint? Why an Aureole at all? No idea, but it's neat, and it dropped a glass halberd, and that means more money. Is this TOS? Whoop. I want that Jink Blade. Paralyzed 10 seconds on strike. Nice. The hell was that? Oh, the mummy's alive! Great, now I gotta be on edge for that. Even the corpses are enemies? What is this, Dead Space? You know, actually, it's spooky out here. Let's get inside where it'll be quiet and pleasant. It's cluttered, but at least he started decorating the place. The Corprus weepings and the House Dagoth cup didn't get moved, as I suspected they would, so the fiasco with the vile creature was unnecessary. Interesting, though. Sixth house and poltergeists? This place can't catch a break. Oh cute, a throw rug. This Jink Blade is a lifesaver. Oh my god! They spilled blood everywhere. Part of me wishes I installed an ambient light mod to make these dungeons darker. It really would have added to the occult horror, but that probably wouldn't make for a good viewing experience. YouTube's compression is iffy, and dark videos look even worse when compressed. Also, I'm not going to be highlighting every single nook and cranny in this place. That way you have something to explore if you decide to download these mods and try them yourself with some ambience thrown in. It's not good for a YouTube video, but it's good for your own personal playthrough. Reminds me of Super Mario Sunshine when you pull Blooper's snoot. But that game's vibe is it's a little different. Unlike Ilunibi, the overall structure of this place is largely unchanged. In fact, the loot piñatas are still down in the basement. One dead hero with an ebony longsword, and another dead hero with a weirdly enchanted sword, glass gear, and a glass halberd close by. I genuinely love how cluttered this place is. It really shows how hyper-focused the Sixth House is on their primary goals. Spread the word of Dagoth's return, and bless the world with Corprus. Everything they brought to Kogoruhn is just dropped in a room. Organization isn't important. Then there's the Fire Atronach room with the Eye of Sauron in the middle. I'm gonna assume it was here when House Dagoth got here, and they've just been ignoring it like a paper wasp nest in a shed. If you go through the portal, you teleport outside of Kogoruhn, atop the tallest tower, where a Vermai, a Daedra from Battlespire, is waiting to ambush you. And when you try using the portal again, you teleport to the top of the tower again. Yeah, it's a one-way trip. Don't use the portal. Now, I'm sure you've noticed all the spiderwebs. Those aren't just extra assets to add to the clutter motif. Oh no. So to get down into the sewers under Kogoruhn, you need to pick the lock on the door, or find the key. The key is in an offshoot portion of Kogoruhn, and within that offshoot are a few spiders. Ooh, drummer flying boots. I'm saying all this because I don't have arachnophobia. I actually quite like spiders, but these guys still manage to unsettle me quite a bit. So I imagine if you don't like spiders, it won't be too great for you. So look away for the next 20 or so seconds. See, that's a small one. It's giant, but comparatively, it's small. Because that's the big one. Its legs are just moving so fast, I hate it. Oh, it spawns smaller ones when it dies, though. Alright, we're in the sewer now. No more spiders. You're good. The sewers are full of shit. Or, full of shit. General shit, not the actual... I think these are storm sewers. I like the mushrooms. You'd think Morrowind would have more caves filled with giant mushrooms. Fungus loves moisture, and underground is typically quite moist, so there aren't any plants around competing for that moisture. Although Mundus's plant life might not need light to survive. The sun is a tear in the fabric between Mundus and Aetherius. So the light isn't just light, it's also raw magicka. Plants may be able to grow in low light conditions, assuming there's enough latent magicka oozing about. Nirnroot is an example of this actually, so maybe mushrooms would have competition. Well, another mod we've got installed is Divine Dagoths. It makes all the Ash Vampires look unique, and gives them a regal appearance. Golden accessories, gorgeous red nail polish. Uthal does have some dumb welder goggles on. I mean, who would wear something like that? That's so silly. The Shadow Shield is in a different part of the cave, right next to the decorative tumors. And of course, we can't forget about the Daedric Gauntlets. We bring the items to Sul-Matul. He says he doesn't actually need them, and we're free to keep everything we've collected, so we drop them all. And he reveals the third trial. We must venture to the Cavern of the Incarnate, its location hidden within a riddle. It's near the Zainab Ashlander camp. Before dealing with all that prophecy nonsense, we got a bunch of loot to unload. And with all the gold, we can make some enchantments. There was a golden saint scroll in one of the dungeons, so we summon her, soul trap her, kill her, and use her very essence to enchant a shirt with a constant effect bound dagger. Constant effect bound weapons are remarkably cheap enchantments, by the way. We never have to worry about our Devil Tonto running out of charge, and if our bound dagger ever needs repairing, we can just take off the shirt and put it right back on, spawning a fresh dagger. Also, we make some robes that restore fatigue. 100 points for 8 seconds, using one of the soul gems we stole from Galbadir. Could be useful. Alright, back to the prophecy.
In the dawn hour under Azura's star, the door is opened.
Dagoth welcomes you, Nerevar, my old friend.
Now it's time for the Nerevarine and Hortator Portator of the main quest. It's got nothing to do with these mods, so we'll zip through it super fast. Return to Sul-Matul, get his blessing. Escort Sanamu of the Ahamusa to Alt Daedroth, soul trapping the Golden Saint while we're there. We cast the damn spell. Kill the vampire Calvario for Kalshad, go to Tel'Aran'e to buy a slave for Kalshad to pass off as a Telvanni noble he can wed, but before picking her up, we kill Archmagister Gothrun. He won't vote for us as Telvanni Hortator, so he has to die. Once he's dead, we buy the slave, escort her to the Zainab camp, and become the Zainab Nerevarine. Convince Nelith to vote for us by bribing him, violently broker peace among the Arabanimson, becoming the Arabanimson Nerevarine. Bribe Thorana for another Telvanni vote, bribe Dratha for her vote, getting another scroll of Summon Golden Saint in the process, and lock in our Hortator status with Aryan and Tel'Vos. For Redoran, we rescue Ethan Serethi's son from Venom Manor, confirm that all the other counselors will vote for us, and accept Bolvin Venom's challenge to a duel. Once he's dead, we'll be Hortator. Finally, for Hlalu, we bribe Ingling Half-Troll, we uncover Drambarrow's hiding spot, we kill Orvis Dren, subtly threatening Navina Ules and Valanda Omani to vote for us, and finally bribe Crassius Curio. All that remains is killing Bolvin Venom in the Vivec Arena. We've killed Bolvin Venom in the Vivec Arena. With all the great houses and Ashlander tribes on Vardenfell recognizing us as Hortator and Nerevarine, we're summoned to meet with the God King Vivec. He gives us Wraithguard, an ancient Dwemer gauntlet we need in order to wield Kagranak's tools, Sunder and Keening, without suffering mortal wounds. But first, we must reclaim Sunder and Keening. It's time we check out what those mods did to the Vampire Citadels. The upcoming fights might be a bit tough, so we need to gird ourselves against the assault. First, a ring with a constant healing effect. 1 to 4 points. It's not a ton, but it's more than we had. After recouping the cost of that enchantment by selling some of our loot back to the enchanter, and also selling some loot to Creeper, using the Summon Golden Saint scroll we got from Dratha, we create another constant effect enchantment, Restore Fatigue, 10 to 14 points on a shirt. It overlaps with our Bound Dagger shirt, but that's fine since we'll be getting Keening soon enough. And there's a Daedric Wakazashi and Endosal anyway. Endosal and Terrainulal aren't mandatory citadels, so they don't get much love, or at least I didn't look very hard for a mod that does affect them, but the Ash Vampires within those citadels are a bit different. At least they look different. Dagoth Endis offers us a bottle of Dagoth brandy, so of course, he's holding his very own bottle, the lush. Easy to kill though. Terrainulal is Kagranak's library, so naturally Dagoth Terrainul is meandering amongst the books and wearing a pair of glasses. I guess the Heart of Lorcan couldn't reincarnate him with good eyesight, or maybe he's just wearing the glasses to appear well read. What a dork. Odrosal time. Clearly, it's a little different. More enemies strewn about, a strange grid in the middle of the lobby, but it still has this side door we can just unlock. Keening is normally right behind this door and up in a tower, but it's a dead end now. Not so easy. Clever, clever, mod maker. As you could see, the 6th house has already turned this place into a little home away from home. Got their shrines set up all nice, complete with offerings, very modern, very chic. Eye catches in the corner for when you have guests over, quite the conversation starter. And just down the hall is the den where, oh my. It seems the residents didn't realize that the open house was today. The fleshy outcroppings are included, they came with the property, but if they're not to your liking, we can get the owners to take them. That can easily get worked into the contract. Oh, more people. Oh my god, this is the wrong condo. Yeah, anyway, the mod extends Odrosal a bit, rather than just sprucing up the base game cells. Check it out. A tumor-filled cavern. Whatever might we find? Corprus nightmares, of course. After a bit of wandering, we find a huge vertical shaft. Ascending the shaft throws us into yet another corridor, this one with 2 locked doors. Well, would you look at this familiar room? It's the pre-keening chamber. The tower is guarded by a squid face and an ash slave, but after killing them, we find that keening is not here. Instead, upon the shrine is a unique Daedric helmet, an open Daedric helmet, meaning Khajiit and Argonians can wear it. We lose the willpower buff from the 6th house helm, but this does look cooler, so we have to wear it. The level 100 door just leads us back to the lobby, for lack of a better term. Taking a different path through the meat hallway places us in an enormous cavern reminiscent of a Celestiatoma. In the distance is Dagoth Odros just hanging out amongst the pus. Damn, he's cool looking. He's more machine than man. The Myrrh, but he dies like a Myrrh all the same. Well, with a bit more flair, admittedly. But where is Keening? Why, at the center of it all, right at the bottom of the cavern, guarded by a lone squid face. New weapon, baby. Vemynal time. At first, everything seems normal. The textures are a little different, but look at that. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love when a narrow corridor opens up into an unnecessarily huge chamber with something neat in the distance. I don't know what the hell all this is, but it's interesting, and that's all that matters. Look, an imposing Dwemer contraption, and this thing, and a grinding wheel we can repair our gear on. Neat. It seems the mod author was going for an industrial theme. This is where the 6th house builds their armaments, that none of them ever use. The Hall of Torque lives up to its name, being filled with exposed flywheels and corkscrews that I can only assume exist purely to make the place dangerous. At the end of the hall is the guest of honor, Dagoth Vemyn, wielding Sunder. Doesn't do very much damage though. Time for Dagoth Ur.
Come, Nerevar, friend or traitor, come. Come and look upon the heart and Akulakan. And bring Wraithguard. I have need of it.
No matter what they do to the dungeon, no trek to the facility chamber is complete without Dagoth Ur monologuing at you. You know, I'm not sure why, but I've always found covered catwalks to be fancy. A school I went to had a covered glass catwalk between 2 of the buildings. It was obviously a new construction because the architecture didn't match the buildings at all. They didn't even try. But it was so nice to walk through it when it was pouring rain. It wasn't insulated whatsoever, but it kept the water out, so it was cold and dry. Weirdly cozy. The Well of Gongs. The closest the base game ever got to tying the 6th house to music is the bells and the subtle talk about tonal shades. And yet this whole room feels like it's canon. It fits. It just fits. It's occult. It's weird. It's like the evil incarnation of those singing meditation bowls. No. The conductor dies, and the music comes to an end. Love it.
Is this how we honor the 6th house, tribe Unmourned? Come to me openly, not by stealth.
It's so hard to hear Voran's dulcet words when his noise factory is busy smashing pistons for no reason. In that cave waits a god.
Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made.
He looks really cool. He's got more detail, and more accessories, but he still has all those qualities that make Dagoth feel like Dagoth. So the fight has changed quite a bit, it's got multiple phases, and Dagoth himself has some new tricks. First of all, he teleports around the room like a whiz rope, and once you get him down to about half-ish health, he becomes invincible while taunting you.
Oh, dear me. Forgive me, but I am enjoying this.
Then he explodes, summoning a trio of Atronachs and draining a ton of your magicka and fatigue. The Atronachs, thankfully, only last about 10 seconds. Beating him down again initiates another phase transition.
I surrender. I surrender.
Dagoth transports you into a dream world where you must defeat 6 of his astral shades, all while dealing with the body and mind crumbling effects of his mental invasion. So long as you linger in this realm, you'll take constant health, magicka, and fatigue damage. There is a secret method of killing these shades I wasn't aware of until after finishing this run. I won't spoil it, but I'll give you a hint. It's a non-damaging spell. Without absurd potions, it's actually pretty tough to stay alive, especially when you have to waste time running between each of the shades. All the while, the shades are throwing magic at you. Yeah, not only is the room's aura killing you, but the shades are too. Rather than documenting my several deaths and the many failed strategies I attempted, let's skip over all the trial and error and get to the real tactics. Sunder. We need to buy a bunch of blunt weapon training. This whole run, we were focusing on short blades when we should have been building up towards Sunder. It's one of the best weapons in the game, it's strong, it's fast, and it comes with huge attribute buffs. Keening just can't cut it, ironically. Thousands of gold later, and several character levels, we hit level 70 in blunt weapon and are ready to return to Dagoth. Along with Sunder, we'll be using some of the enchanted items we lifted from the Ash Vampires. The Blood Ring from Dagoth Gilvoth provides several defensive buffs, and the Amulet of Heartthrum from Dagoth Terenul grants 30 seconds of spell absorption, among other things. Any bit of damage mitigation is invaluable, and to recover the damage we can't avoid, I bought dozens of Scrolls of Restoration. They heal 5 points of fatigue and health, and 1 point of magicka per second for 30 seconds. Weak? Yes, but easy to cast and better than nothing. Alright, let's try this again.
Oh, dear me. Forgive me, but I am enjoying this. I surrender. I surrender.
Each of the astral phases is stronger than the previous, with your body crumbling faster each time. After the third phase, he goes berserk and stops using magic, opting to fight in melee range instead. Getting his health down to near death causes him to throw a tantrum and explode several times, and that takes me by surprise, killing me. What's supposed to happen is you survive his tantrum, get transported into the dream realm once again, but instead of contending with the magical Dagoth turrets, the shades also opt for melee. They rush into us, making our job easier actually, but killing just 6 isn't enough. They respawn 2 more times before we're whisked out of the dream state to witness the Sharmat collapse, the life of this incarnation snuffed out. Oh hey, he did prepare a place for us. The final mod I installed is Akulakan's Better Chamber. It's not incredibly different, but Akulakan has way more detail. In fact, when I wandered over to this part of the chamber, my computer was about to take off. The CPU temp went up to 90 degrees for a few seconds, and my fans kicked on like crazy. Celsius, mind you. I have no idea why this happened. But aside from the visuals, this room is exactly the same.
You put it full stop. This is the end. The bitter end.
Certainly a tougher fight than what we get in the base game, and it's absolutely more fitting for a game's final boss. Difficulty aside, the final boss should have its own share of theater, don't you think? It's a bit overtuned though, if you ask me. Specifically the astral aura effect. It feels overly punishing unless you just chug potions. But that one criticism aside, all of these mods are great. If you had never played Morrowind and only read about the 6th house, this is what you would expect to see. The base game alludes to horrors, but these mods actually bring the horrors to life. It's great. 11 out of 10. Full marks. Thanks again to Displate for sponsoring this video. Get up to 37% off by using my link in the description or using the promo code JBN.